Yeah, and good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Good evening. June 24th, 2021. I'm Jason Tanner, and welcome. And I was thinking about media consolidation and how it's not just the idea that six or five or four companies own everything media oriented, social media too, but how, let's take NBC for an example. Everything seems to revolve around 30 Rock. Now, of course, there's local affiliates as well, but mainly what you're getting when you're hearing anything from NBC or CNBC or MSNBC, Microsoft NBC, you are getting everything from the same building in the same city and the same perspectives. And all of these people that work there at 30 Rock in the news division pretty much live with each other because you're working long days and overnights, and you're palling around with the same people all the time. And there's different dynamics in workplaces where these days, especially, you can't have other opinions that differ from everybody else's opinions. You can't be a lone dissenter, or you'll be shunned or demoted, things like that. So everybody's living in this big building. They can go home every once in a while and go fishing, like Rachel does. But basically, you're around the same people and the same mindsets all the time. And it's kind of like a little, and it's overused, I suppose, but it's kind of like a little cult. You're hearing the same opinions from the same people all the time. It'll stretch out a little bit where some opinions will be over here and some opinions will be over here. But if you got an opinion that's way over there or way over there, you're just not going to hear it expressed on any of those sources of MSNBC or CNBC or the main NBC network. I'm just using them as an example. The same thing happens at ABC, same thing happens at CBS, same thing happens at Fox, and any of the upstarts as well. If you're only hearing the same opinions all the time, and if you live in a city, all of those places are pretty much bunched together anyway, and they all go to the same bars, they all go to the same restaurants, the same country clubs. They're all buddies on screen and off screen. I'm sure they don't all spend all of their time together, but mainly the people that they see are the people that they work with and have on their shows as so-called experts about things. What I would rather see, and this is probably a long shot, but what I would rather see is, especially in this age of technology, just abolish those buildings. We don't need those buildings anymore. There's people scattered all over the country, and they're skilled. They have skills, they have interview skills, and I don't have interviewing skills myself. I'm not trying to get a job there or anything like that. I wouldn't want a job there. But if there are people that would like to work for NBC and don't want to live in New York City, why do they have to be all bunched up together in one place? Why can't somebody in a field, in a small town America, be a regular correspondent? They may not be, maybe there's no news happening, right? But why can't they have their opinions shared? Why is it that they refer to people as, they're just living in flyover country? They're not in touch. They're not in touch with real America. And you'll see these things and they'll come up with some bright idea where they'll go out and visit real America once in a while and try to get people's opinions for half a day. And, what do you think about this? And, but they're not living. They're not living in America. I'm not saying that New York City isn't part of America. Obviously it is, but it's just a part of America. They're not living elsewhere. They've flocked to New York City to get away from elsewhere. And they don't really care for the opinions of the rest of the United States of America, let alone anywhere else in the world. They just care about their own opinions, and they care about fitting in and keeping their very, 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 very lucrative jobs. And I can't blame them for that. Who wouldn't want a very, 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 very lucrative job? Yeah. But somebody will say, well, I worked my ass off for this job. I'm sure you did. But in my mind, I've got this thought about the future and how a network such as NBC or any of them would have people in every state, possibly even in various parts of every state, that they could turn to and get an opinion from, an informed opinion. Not just like somebody in the street that's like, I have no idea, that's a New York thing, that's not my problem. But somebody in just anywhere, and let's have a mixture of people represented. They talk a lot about representation in the media these days. Well, let's have a real society of real representation reflected on the news. Now, this could be the same with Hollywood, too. People flock to that area, and they all become part of the same mindset. And they've all gotten away. They've all moved there to get away from what we might call real America. They've got their own little portion of America, but they're not really representative of the actual America as a whole. The United States of America, I should say. But it'd be interesting if more points of view were represented and not just the points of view of a few executives, which everybody wants to please the boss, right? So if the executive has an opinion about politics, everybody else is going to try and mimic that opinion or just keep their mouths shut and not make waves. But it would be interesting if you had a Brian Williams sitting somewhere in the Midwest where I grew up in, or here in North Carolina where I'm at now, and just sitting and chatting with everyday Americans, and that was part of their life and not just part of their job. And I wonder, how would the news reflect this? Would they get the same kind of things? Would people start trying to please them with opinions so that they could be on the news and maybe get a paycheck out of the deal? I don't know. There's probably downsides to my little theory as well as upsides. But I think the upside would be wonderful if we got a better cross-section of the United States of America represented on the news. And that would include Hawaiians and Alaskans and everybody in the entire US of A, instead of just these kind of clones of each other that we see on all of the networks. On Fox, we get well, there's some people with differing opinions. It's more of a conservative, obviously, base there. But there are differing opinions on Fox, believe it or not. If you don't watch Fox, you probably don't know. You've only heard what you've heard. But it's kind of like MSNBC has been lately, where there's it's pretty much the same show hour after hour after hour after hour, just a different host. And it didn't used to be that way. There used to be different, back before, it's probably been over 20 years now, but before 9/11, there were other kinds of shows on MSNBC that were more representative of many different opinions. But it's still kind of like, again, it was still like in this little area where you could talk within these parameters. But if somebody's over here, no. Or over here, no. I remember right after 9/11, and there was a big discussion about invading and occupying other countries. And they would invite people like Margaret Cho, for instance. I remember this, and Janine Garofalo, and they would be way over here, anti-war, but the host would be here, and it would be like they always do this too. You see this on the news. Anytime somebody says something that's totally outrageous according to them, you'll see the host make a face like this, or a sour face, or lemon face, I say. That can't be true. You know, it's like they're very skilled at making the person that's way over there out of the screen, out of focus. Just put them in the worst light possible, and we're supposed to trust the guy in the middle, the anchor person, to make the, to react to whatever they're saying in a positive light or a negative light, put them in a positive light or a negative light, depending on their facial expressions or their tone of voice. That's why I say they've got to spread out. They've got to make sure that more and more voices are covered from all across the United States, and not just people fitting in their little box, their little cult. So that's about 11 minutes. 11 minutes is probably okay, right? That's my topic for the day. I don't want to dwell on it too much. I'm still waiting for some actual bridge to come in, so I'm not making too many videos right now, but I thought I'd share my my thoughts of the day, and hopefully you're well, and maybe the next time you see me I'll have a bridge and I can tilt the camera angle so that you can actually see my teeth. I don't mind pointing them out. I don't mind. I'm kind of used to them right now while I wait, but it's been a good time to have a mask for the times that I really want to show up the big gap in my tooth area for now. But anyway, have a great day. That's all I wanted to say right now, is just think about it. Just think about it, all you TV executives. Why do you need everybody to be in this one area, and why do you need every opinion to mirror pretty much the other opinion? It's just so much sameness. We want to hear more voices, more opinions, more variety, and so that way, if you say something that maybe isn't being said so much on one of the mainstream corporate media channels, it won't be considered a conspiracy theory. And you guys yourselves in the media will know that there are more people who don't think like you do than there are people that think like you do. I know Mika, or one of those people, said the other day that it's their job. It's their job to make you think the way they do, or words to that effect. Now, that's not really news. That's propaganda. That's not even just opinion. That's propaganda. And she just came right out and said it. It's their job to make you believe a certain way. That shouldn't be the case. And this other thing with Rachel Maddow, who had to admit in court, or her lawyers did, before a judge, that what she says really isn't news. It's opinion and exaggeration, and supposedly her viewers are supposed to know this. Now, Rush Limbaugh said that in the past, the late Rush Limbaugh, and Glenn Beck has said that in the past too. Hey, I'm just a clown. Nobody should take what I say seriously. But people do take you people seriously. You wear the right suits. You have the right makeup on. You are put in a position of looking the correct way to get your points across. And people are supposed to trust you. The most trusted name in news, CNN, right? People are programmed to trust whatever you're saying. So I don't know, getting away with saying, well, it's just opinion, it's just exaggeration, it's just entertainment. Maybe you should put that on your, like a chyron, right there underneath. There would be right here, I suppose. There would be opinion. Don't take this seriously. This is not news. This is propaganda. Put it on your screen. Brag about it. Own it. Anyway, like I said, that's it for me today. Peace for now. Peace forever.